Good morning, everyone. I am Judge Betsy Benson. You are here for your first appearance hearings. What we do in first appearance hearings is first we determine whether or not there is probable cause to hold you. Then we determine whether or not you have a lawyer. I want to let you know that pursuant to Florida statutes, if you do not have counsel, I am provisionally appointing the Public Defender's Office for purposes of this hearing only. You may be asked to fill out some documents at a later date that ask you about your finances in order to determine whether you qualify for the Public Defender's Office for your case. Don't refuse to fill them out thinking that I've already appointed the Public Defender's Office. I've appointed the Public Defender's Office just for this hearing. I also want to let you know that we're going to try to determine the least restrictive means for your release. We will have input from both your lawyer and the assistant state attorney in order to make that determination. I also want to let you know that today is not your trial, but that if you choose to speak to me, that means that this is being recorded and could be used for a hearing or a trial at a later date. So I strongly urge you to take my advice and most likely the advice of your lawyer, which is to exercise your right to remain silent. If there's something that you want me to know, please tell your lawyer and they can determine whether or not that is relevant to today's proceedings, and they will let me know. I also want to remind you as an aside that when you make phone calls from the jail, they also record all of that. So it's a good idea for you to not talk when you're talking on on a phone about your case, because those recordings are routinely pulled by the state attorney's office, and those are also used against you at a hearing or trial. If you have a lawyer or you think that your family or friends might have gotten you a lawyer, I want you to be sure and let me know that. Give the phone number. We'll try to contact that lawyer if they're not already here, and see if we can get the lawyer here. Let me just hang on right now. I'm going to go to page 9. Mr. Kroll, you want to come up? Let me see if I can find this case. Natalia, no, that's not it. Okay, Mala Panir Salvam. I'm so sorry if I haven't indicated the name correctly.
Your Honor, good morning. Jeremy Kroll on your behalf.
Good morning, Ms. Salvam. Do you see Mr. Kroll? We can't hear her. Okay, okay. Mr. Kroll, you may proceed, sir.
Your Honor, good morning. Mrs. Panir Salvam has no prior criminal history. She's married. She and her husband have 2 minor children. I will tell the court that they're the subject of a present dependency action. They've been removed from the home. Presently, that case is before Judge Schultz. Visitation that's supervised. Having said that, Judge, I turned her and her husband into the Sunrise Police Department yesterday. They self-surrendered. I was surprised to see that the initial bond set on the warrant was so high based on their lack of criminal history and the allegations. I will tell the court that I've been in very close touch with their family law attorney. There are medical tests that are pending. The issue involves 2 fractures to a elbow and a shoulder to a approximately 6-month-old child. They're twins. There's no physical problems with the other, but there's questions as to whether or not this might have been a medical issue, and the tests are still pending from that. So I was very surprised to see that there was an arrest warrant generated until the tests came back. Having said that, my position is the $100,000 bond, in light of her lack of criminal history, in light of her self-surrender, is unreasonable as a matter of law. I'm asking the court this morning to consider setting a $5,000 bond on both her and her husband's cases. I also think it would probably be appropriate that whatever contact is allowed would be consistent with the family law case or with the dependency case. But she doesn't have a criminal history, and like I said, she self-surrendered yesterday. They have very limited means, though, I will tell the court. They live in an apartment. They do not own a home. They do have 1 car, but they owe more on it than it's worth.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kroll. Mr. Gilday?
Yes, Judge. I'm just reading the warrant from the warrant firm on this case. The current bond is at $100,000. I would just ask the court to keep it as such, and if the court would want to reduce it, they can do it at the division level rather than here.
Okay, I am going to leave the bond as set. If Judge Bailey wants to entertain a motion to reduce or modify it, I don't see why it can't go before Judge Bailey, but I do notice that Judge Bailey reviewed the warrant. It's Judge Bailey's case, and he set the bond. I think it's Dennis. Yes, sir, it's Dennis.
And Judge, I also have on page 24.
I do find probable cause for the record.
And Judge, I guess I need to be heard on that as well.
Yes, sir?
I have not seen the warrant.
Okay.
But I did see a search warrant. And it appears that the probable cause is articulated by omission, meaning that since no one can explain how the child got the injuries, that in itself is evidence that Mr. Satu or Ms. Panir Selvem would therefore be responsible for the injuries. But there's absolutely nothing articulated that either of them were responsible for causing the child's injuries. And so from that perspective, my feeling was when I read the search warrant that it appeared that there was a dearth of probable cause under the circumstances.
Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I'm just reading the arrest record. I'm looking at doctors' explanations for how these injuries could have occurred. Some doctors are saying that some of the injuries were likely sustained through a shaking or whipping motion. Other doctors found what he believes to be heel fractures in the child's wrist. I mean, I'm just reading this arrest warrant for the first time. I'm looking at the information that's being provided by the detective in this case and signed by Judge Dennis Bailey. And I'm just, again, I think that the bond amount is appropriate considering the charges, and if Judge Dennis Bailey wants to reduce charges based off of circumstances around her self-surrendering or otherwise.
Well, I think we need to back up real quick, Mr. Gilday, and I think that at this point, Mr. Kroll, you're talking about Prakash Satu, who's on page 24. Is that correct, sir?
Oh, sorry, Judge, I'm looking at...
They're the same warrants from what I saw, pretty much. Is Mr. Prakash Satu here?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, sir. Did you hear what Mr. Kroll was saying about your case, Mr. Satu?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, you heard it. And I would tend to agree with Mr. Gilday. This was reviewed by more than one doctor. Again, Judge Bailey did find probable cause, and he did set the bond in this case, so I am going to defer to him, Mr. Kroll, and allow whatever arguments you want to make to go before him. I did also review the warrant, and I do find probable cause. Thank you very much, sir. You too. That, Count, Lewis, what do you have, sir?
I have Mr. Pickett, Judge.
Okay, and he's on
I
page?
can't tell you what page, 'cause I haven't.
Okay, let me take a look. Well, what, can I do another one until you find Mr.
Sure, I'll
Pickett?
look for Mr. Pickett,
Just
Judge.
give me the heads up when you're ready.
Will
That,
do.
that takes us to Erin Elizabeth Yule, E-U-L-E.
Good morning, Your Honor.
She's where? North. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning, Ms. Yule. You are charged with touch or strike battery from dating violence. I do find probable cause. The state would say you as to bond?
Judge, I'm looking at her criminal history in Broward County. It doesn't look like it's very much. There was a VOP for possession of hydrocodone and possession of diazepam, which she did 30 days in jail back in 2004, but other than that, this is the...
Okay, what say you, Ms. Sundar?
Your Honor, considering that I'd asked for our ROR.
Okay. Ms. Yule, your bond is set at $2,500. You are to have no contact whatsoever with Eric Beerer, B-I-E-R-E-R. You are not to return to 3511 Southwest 32nd Avenue, West Park, Florida 33023, unless you have a police officer to accompany you. That's only to retrieve your belongings. You are not to contact him directly or indirectly. That means through friends or others. Thank you very much.
Your Honor, if the bond is set at that amount, can I request it be lowered so she can meet the bond?
That is denied.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Nariman Masood, M-A-S-O-U-D.
The angel, Your Honor.
She's here in Maine, Your Honor. Good
Okay,
morning.
thank you.
Emma Barrios on her behalf.
Okay, Ms. Masood, you are charged with touch or strike battery and criminal mischief of between $200 and $1,000. I do find probable cause. What say you state?
Judge, again, this defendant does not have any criminal history in Broward County, but I have no other information outside of that.
Okay, defense?
Your Honor, she's been a resident of Broward for 10 years. She has 3 kids that she currently supports, and given the fact that it's her first arrest and she doesn't have any criminal record, I would be requesting an ROR on her behalf or an alternative pretrial release.
Okay, I find probable cause as I indicated earlier. Your bond is $2,500. You are to have no contact whatsoever with the victim in this case, Mohammed Faraj, until further order of the court. You may go back to 5475 Southwest 42nd Street, Davie, Florida 33314 to retrieve your belongings. I'm RORing you on count 2. Thank you very much. That's no direct or indirect contact until further order of the court.
Your Honor, given the fact that she has the 3 kids that she has to support, is Your Honor willing to lower the bond so she's able to post bond on the case?
That is denied.
Thank you.
Case number, Semexant, Rico Semexant, Semexant. I apologize if I am not pronouncing your
Your
name.
Honor, they're bonded.
Okay, bonded.
Yes.
Thank you. Eric Beerer, Bierer, touch or strike.
He's here, Your Honor.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Beerer. You are charged with touch or strike battery, dating violence. I do find probable cause. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Yes, Judge, I'm just looking to see. He has just some traffic infractions. This is the only offense in Broward County that I see.
Okay. Defense?
Judge, given he's been a resident of Broward all his life, 37 years. He is currently not living with the alleged victim in the case. He lives with his parents, so contact would not be an issue in this case. And given the fact that it is his first offense, I would be respectfully requesting for him to be ROR'd or in the alternative pretrial release since he cannot afford bond.
I do find probable cause. I set your bond in the amount of $2,500. You are to have no contact whatsoever with Erin Ewell, E-U-L-E. I need Ms. Ewell back up because I think I mistakenly thought that Mr. Beerer and Ms. Ewell lived together. So I am going to allow Ms. Ewell to live in her house. I apologize to Ms. Ewell. Let's get her back up on North Broward, please. Deputy, can you bring Ms. Ewell back up real quickly, sir?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Ewell, I ordered you not to return to your own house. I thought you lived with Mr. Beerer. You can go back home, okay? I am eliminating that portion of my order, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, on this case, may she have a phone order?
Sure.
Thank you.
He doesn't live with her. I had that wrong. Jeffrey Richardson. Good morning, Mr. Richardson. How are you? You're charged with criminal mischief and violation of an injunction.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, sir. What say you state?
Criminal history in Broward County, Judge. It looks like there is not.
I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, Judge. I'm pulling up his criminal history right
Okay.
now. It is lengthy. I'll go back to the most recent, besides this case. He has he was given probation for resisting violence, 17-10508 MM10A. He does have a battery, touch or strike, and violation of domestic violation, which was also is filed as of March 5th, 2018. So he has an open case right now. That's case number 181249 MM10A.
What is his status on that? Is it a bond or,
I can see, Judge.
when was that case?
March of 2018.
Okay.
He received 10 years of probation, Judge, on a 2011 case also for throwing a deadly missile after he violated probation. And he
Okay.
pled as charged in 2005 to resisting without violence and trespass. I'm going to pull up his,
Okay, while you're doing that, Ms. Sundar, you have anything to say?
Your Honor, I would ask that he'd be released on his, on ROR if and that's not available pre-trial.
Okay. On the criminal mischief charge, Mr. Richardson, your bond is $100 on the violation of an injunction or protection against domestic violence. Your bond is $50,000. If you make bond, you are to be on a monitor. You are not to leave your home except to go to work or church or grocery shopping once a week for 1 hour.
Your Honor, considering the amount set, would you consider reducing it?
No,
Judge,
that's denied.
he did post a $2,000 bond in June of 2018 on the 186812 CF10A, which is aggravated stalking after an injunction, violation of a domestic violence order, and violation of an injunction for domestic violence, and violation of an injunction order for stalking or cyber stalking. I can,
Okay, he posted the bond, and when was the arrest? Because this PC is dated May 12th. So I don't know that
he was arrested June 8th,
yeah, so this
So-
happened,
predates.
so I don't know that I can disturb the bond, so I'm not going to. Good morning, Ms. Townsend.
How are you?
I'm good.
Are you only placing the defendant on pre-trial for count 4?
Yeah, I only have 2 counts on mine.
Right, count 3 and 4. Well, it's add charge.
Yes, ma'am, only for count 4.
The second count.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, so Jaime Garcia,
He's here, Your Honor.
he's in
It's here
Maine,
for him.
Yes.
okay? Good morning, how are you? Are you, Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, Ms. Rodriguez.
Hello.
Okay, so Mr. Garcia, you are charged with domestic battery by strangulation. I do find probable cause. What say you, Ms. Rodriguez? How can I help you?
I'm good. Do I miss anything? I don't know.
It's entirely up to you.
I just want him to get help.
Okay. How can I help? Mr. Gilday, what say you, sir?
Judge, there are prior DV cases, different victims, but prior DV cases in Broward County from 2012, I believe. Other than that, besides that, I'm sorry, Judge. I had
That's
the
okay.
wrong-
While you're looking, Ms. Sundar, what say you?
Your Honor,
Or
my
I'm
name-
sorry, who do we
Yes.
have? Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ms.
What-
Barrios.
Good morning, Ms. Barrios.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Judge, if I can just make a bond argument on his behalf.
Sure.
He's been a resident of Broward County for 11 years. He currently does have a job. He has 2 kids that he supports. The probable cause affidavit states that the alleged victim, who I believe is present, that she does not wish to pursue charges against him at this point. I know the state attorney mentioned these previous domestic violence charges. However, Mr. Garcia has advised me that those were not pursued and that they were dropped. So we would just be respectfully asking for him to be ROR, or in the alternative, for him to be on pretrial release.
Mr. Garcia, your bond is set in the amount of $50,000. You are to be on a monitor if you're released, and you are to attend an AA or NA meeting 5 days a week. If you can find an alternative treatment program, I would not have a problem with that. But if you are unable to make your bond, I would strongly advise you to take advantage of any and all available rehabilitation programs because you have 2 children.
Yes.
And
You
Your Honor,
you should be there for them, don't you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And Your Honor, he's okay with doing the conditions that Your Honor has set, and he's willing to do that. However, we would just be asking if Your Honor is willing to lower the bond so he's
Okay.
able to bond out and get the help.
That's denied.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're not to have any contact with Ms. Rodriguez during the pendency of this action until further order of the court. Do you understand? Not direct or indirect? Come up and tell me you understand that. If you have any questions, that means you can't call a friend and ask them to call her. That means if she calls you and says, let's go to dinner, you have to say no because Judge Benson won't let us see each other. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Francis Sine or Sine? S-I-N-E?
He's here.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
You're charged with aggravated battery with a domestic weapon. I do find probable cause. What say you state?
What happened?
I said you're charged with aggravated battery. Okay, do you want me to help you understand why? Your brother says you stabbed him with a pair of scissors. And that's using a weapon likely to cause death or great bodily harm. Okay, so that's why you're here, okay? Do you understand?
Do you understand?
Yes, miss.
Okay, good. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, this defendant does not have an extensive adult criminal history because of his age. However, I do know from working in the juvenile unit that he does have an extensive juvenile record, which I cannot pull up on this computer system.
I understand.
I also understand that he's currently on pretrial for a battery of domestic violence in nature that was filed on August 20th of 2018, which is
Let me have the case number.
187919 and then 108.
Who's the judge? Huh, say it again?
McHugh, Your Honor.
Judge
We placed
McHugh.
him on pretrial on August 20th. Based on this court's finding of probable cause, we would ask that you revoke his pretrial in that case.
Yeah, okay, that pretrial is revoked. What say you, Ms. Barrios, Maine?
Excuse me?
What say you, Ms. Barrios?
Your Honor, I would just make an argument for him that he's been a Broward resident for 8 years. He's currently in the process of looking for a job, and he has expressed that he has interviews coming up soon. He has told me that he does not have an extensive criminal record, so we would just be requesting an ROR or an alternative, a pretrial release. He has advised that his brother is not going to go forward
Okay,
with the prosecution.
that's denied. His bond in this matter is set at $25,000. Upon his release, he is to be placed on an ankle monitor. He is not allowed to go back to the house at 4265 Northwest 5th Avenue, Oakland Park, 33309, and he's not to have any contact with his brother, Kevin Seen, either directly or indirectly. And I am ordering that he undergo a psych eval. Somebody write me up a short order.
Your Honor, in the case where we revoke pretrial, will you be holding him no bond on
He's,
that case?
his bond on that case will be $25,000 with the same conditions as this bond and no contact with the victim in that case.
And that's gonna be GPS level 2, Your Honor. You're allowing him to go to work, school, home, work, school, church.
GPS level 2.
Thank you, Judge.
I need a short order for an eval. Oh, that's absolutely fine. Paul Terrell Thomas.
He's present, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. You are charged with violating your probation in case number 16-235CF10A. I do find probable cause. You will be going before your judge on September 17th at 9:45 a.m. Thank you, sir. Lance Blicker or Bucker? This is Lance
He's present.
Blicker. Good morning, Mr. Blicker. You are charged, you are here on a warrant out of Providence, Rhode Island. I do find probable cause. You will be going back there as soon as possible. Jay Brown.
He's here, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Brown. You are held on a warrant out of Brooks County, Georgia. I do find probable cause. They will be coming to get you as soon as possible. Robin Sue Brooks.
That is North Broward, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Oh, gosh, Lewis, I'm sorry. I was on a roll. How about now? Ms. Brooks, just a second. Okay. All right. Good morning, Ms. Brooks. You are charged with second-degree petty theft and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. Your bond on both of them is released on your recognizance. Where are you going to live?
I don't have a place.
Your Honor, I believe she's homeless.
I can call in.
What say you, Mr. Gilday, on Ms. Brooks? Well, if she doesn't come back to court, then we go to the capious route, and then we have her back, and I'm wondering if we can resolve her cases so she doesn't have to do all
Can I
of
just
that.
have a moment to see if the merchandise was returned? I didn't read the end of it.
It was returned.
Yeah, they got her,
Talk about
she
the
was
facts
at
of
a
your
bus
case.
bench, and
Yeah.
Publix came to the bus bench.
Judge, I can make an offer from.
Okay.
Here, I would, my offer would be an adjudication, 25 days, Broward County Jail.
Okay. Ms. Brooks, if you would like to resolve your cases today, have you ever been, you understand if you get convicted or withheld on 2 or more petty thefts, they can charge you as a felony, and you can
Yes,
go
ma'am.
to prison for 5 years, even if it's just for stealing a toothbrush. It's a horrible situation for you. So please, don't go back to this Publix, okay? You're not allowed to go back. And I'm gonna withhold adjudication and take judicial notice of the time that you've served, okay? All right. Okay, Mr. Parante.
Visible for a minute.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Parante.
Judge, I apologize for not having the jacket on today.
That's all right, sir.
Good morning.
Withheld judicial notice. All right, yeah, I did that on. What page?
Judge, I have on page 23, I represent Roderick Pickett.
Okay.
There's also a co-defendant on the case, and that would be
Okay.
Mr. Gomez. I think the PD, for the purpose of this hearing, is gonna have to take Mr. Gomez.
Your Honor, Mr. Gomez is on page 25
25.
in main jail.
Okay. All right, so do I have Mr. Pickett and Mr. Gomez up?
Yes, they're both in main jail, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I see North Broward.
Okay, I know,
Oh, you control that? I like that.
Mr. Pickett and Mr. Gomez, good morning, gentlemen. You gentlemen are charged with 2 counts of trafficking in heroin, 3 counts of armed trafficking, 2 counts of possession with intent to sell, and trafficking in hydromorphone. What say you, Mr. Ferrante? I do find probable cause.
Judge, I'd just like to point out, as to the counts of armed trafficking, Mr. Pickett was not within ready reach of the drugs when he was arrested. He was picked up allegedly on the way there, on the way to the residence. First, the firearm that was found, apparently, according to the PC, was found in a bedroom that was housing a gentleman that lived in the house who rented that room. And the firearm, according to the police, was under the pillow. For those reasons, Judge, I don't believe that there's probable cause for armed trafficking. I would say that there is probable cause, however, for the 2 counts in Mr. Pickett's probable cause affidavit. There's mention of a warrant in there. There were 2 transactions, one dated June 14th of 2018 and the other one of August the 16th, 2018, where the allegations are that Mr. Pickett sold to an undercover DEA or an undercover informant who's listed with the DEA. I would stipulate the probable cause on those. I would ask that reasonable bonds be set on those matters. I would also ask that the court consider consider setting a bond on the armed trafficking based upon my arguments. Furthermore, Judge, Mr. Pickett is not a convicted felon, just so it's clear for the record. He does not have any prior convicted felons. Not firearm by a convicted felon.
So you are challenging the probable cause on counts 3, 4, 5?
The armed trafficking counts, yes, Judge.
Because your allegation is that the gun was found under the pillow of a co-defendant.
Co-defendant, Mr. Gomez, who I can't represent for the purposes of this hearing, because I definitely have a conflict.
What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, they're working together in concert. It's principal theory. If one's charged, then the other one should also be charged as well. I'm reading the probable cause affidavit right now.
Just to be clear, according to the probable cause affidavit, Mr. Pickett found the firearm when he was arrested. Argument is he was not within ready reach of the drugs at that time, so therefore it's not on trafficking.
Over your objections, I'll find probable cause. Mr. Parente, what is your suggestion as to the bonds on counts 1 through 5?
Well, Judge, I know that Mr. Pickett, has some means, but not great means as far as posting a bond. So, the most the family's going to be able to afford for everything, for all counts, is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000.
Okay. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, this is criminal record in Broward County. It's mostly drug possession. I do note that he was on probation for a possession of cocaine in 2007. He violated the probation he ended up being adjudicated.
Oh, that's not true, because he's not a convicted felon. That's just, he's never adjudicated.
I'm just looking at his criminal history here. Judge, if there is a finding of PC done by the court, any bond amount that I would ask would be fully collateralized and have a Nebia hearing as well.
Okay.
Based on the charges.
Okay. So I will set the bond at $150,000. I'll set it, oh gosh, now I have to do math.
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't mean to make, I'm not good with that either.
Okay, it's currently the scheduled bond amount. Okay, I'll set the first 4 counts on 25 each, and then 50 on the 5th count. No, that's not right.
Yes, that was correct. That came to 100.
But then we have 75 on count 8 for the trafficking, and your indication was that the 150,000 was.
Would you consider lowering the bond on count 8 to perhaps $10,000? That still would be a bond over 150 for everything.
I'm gonna set the bond at $20,000 on all counts, which would come out to $160,000. Subject to a Nebia proof hearing and a level 2 monitor. Pretrial release.
And Judge, as far as, do you want to make some more, as far as Mr. Gomez?
Your Honor, Stephen Gomez is on page 25. He's in main jail standing next to alleged co-defendant.
He's after Mr. Pick.
25, Judge.
Page 25.
Yeah, Was he after Mr. Pickens on the docket?
Yes, he is, Judge. Mr. Pickett's on 23. Mr. Gomez is on page 25.
I got it. Okay, we'll do the same for Mr. Gomez.
He has less counts, Judge, just 1, 2,
Oh.
3, 4. And Mr., I'm familiar with Mr. Gomez. I can state to the court that he's of less means than Mr. Pickett.
I will set the bond at $15,000 on each count. So that should be $105, am I right? $105,000, is that correct?
There's 7 counts, Judge?
Yes, sir.
That would be 105,000 for sure.
Level 2 monitor. Subject to a Nebbia hearing. Okay.
All right, Judge, thank you very much.
I
Have
forgot
a
to ask
pleasant-
you if you had any input on that, Mr. Gilday.
It's good to meet you.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gilday.
thank you.
Judge, have a pleasant morning.
You
Thank
too,
you very
Mr.
much.
Ferrante.
Mr. Pickett, if you can hear me, I'll see you this afternoon. Okay?
That takes us to Tasha Walker.
Your Honor, that's a medical reset in North Broward.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
And you are here on council?
Morning, Judge. Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
Kevin McGill on behalf of Arkeisha Jones on page 9 of your Honor's docket.
Okay. And she is Arkeisha Jones?
Jail.
She's here, Your Honor.
Okay, good morning, Ms. Jones.
Good morning.
Let me find your paperwork, ma'am. Give me a sec. Jeez. What's going on? I just went through it. I'm not finding it. Are you sure she's in my? Yeah. Who else is on that page? Could somebody tell me? Ah! Jeez. Okay. Ms. Jones, you're charged with failing to appear in 17-11353 and a warrant for violation of your probation in 18450. But it has
Your Honor.
AF. What is AF?
Your Honor, if I may, the counts 1 and 2 are not for failure to appear on for violation of probation. That's
Okay.
for a new substantive offense, which was for aggravated
Okay.
battery with a firearm
Yes, ma'am? Yes, sir?
against 2 victims. The third count, which is a grand theft, was not for failure to appear. That was an out-of-custody capias on a delayed report grand theft that Ms. Jones had no idea about. What I can tell you about Ms. Jones, she's lived in the county her entire life. The majority of her family lives here. The incident at question occurred when her daughter was moving into a new residence. One of the victims identified Ms. Jones as the shooter, as well as a witness who is related to one of the victims. However, there was approximately 50 people there. I can represent to the court that I know additional facts that aren't in the PC because I spoke with detectives, the 2 detectives that investigated the crime. They appeared to Ms. Jones's residence, left a case card on her doorstep. She contacted us, retained us immediately. We spoke with the detectives and arranged for her surrender yesterday, where she voluntarily showed up to the police department. The officers told me, and I can represent to the court, that there were also 2 witnesses, one independent, one that was related to Ms. Jones, who had said that Ms. Jones was in fact not the shooter. There is a prior history between the 2 victims and Ms. Jones's daughter. They know each other. There's some tension there. I was hoping, each count now is set at $100,000. That's a little high for Ms. Jones. I was hoping the court would consider lowering that bond maybe to $50,000 total, $25,000 on each count with level 2 pretrial and a GPS monitor. She is employed. We would, at least on level 2, she would still be able to work. In the alternative, if your honors wouldn't consider lowering the bond and you want to still put her on a monitor, as long as she can work, that would be great.
Okay, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I've just, I read the warrant for this case. It's pretty disturbing that there are witnesses who did identify the defendant as somebody who shot 2 people. Those gunshots resulted in these 2 victims having to be rushed to the hospital. At least one of them had to get a tracheotomy done because their breathing had become so labored that they couldn't do it on their own. I think that the bonds amounts are appropriate, and if the division judge, who I believe is going to be Judge Yuson, if Judge Yuson wants to entertain lowering the bond amount, I think that's the best place where it should be done.
Yes, with all due respect, I'm not going to disturb the bond, and she does have a hearing date set, looks like next week, before Judge Yuson.
And also, she's, as a case, the 2 aggravated batteries look like they're in front of Judge Dennis Bailey, but it's probably going to go back to Yuson because of the older case.
I think Judge Bailey just signed the arrest
Yeah,
warrant.
he probably just reviewed the warrant, but in an abundance of caution, Mr. Gilday, can you make sure that all of these cases are before the lowest number judge so that we don't take up any more of her time and your time, so that this can be reviewed by the appropriate judge as soon as possible?
Sure, Judge.
Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
Great
you,
to see
sir. You too.
You're welcome.
Mr. Gilday, on Mr. Pickett's case, he had an additional delivery with the scheduled bond amount of $2,500. I'm just leaving the scheduled bond amount on it. So it's whatever plus 2,500. Okay, Michelle Neely, Neilly.
That's,
Paul Ryan, facility, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Ms. Neely. You're charged with failing to appear on a third-degree felony. I believe it's a possession. Your bond is $1,000. You're scheduled to appear before your judge on September 13th at 8:45 a.m. Natalia Piedrahita Nunez.
She's present, Judge.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning, Ms. Piedrahita Nunez. You are charged with battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting without violence. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Yes.
I do find probable cause.
I'm just looking up her criminal history in Broward County right now. I was looking at Pickett's case for a second. Judge, this is the only criminal case I see in Broward County. I don't know what she has outside of Broward County.
Okay. What say you, Ms. Barrios?
Yes, Your Honor. She's been a resident of Broward County for 10 years. She currently works. She has 2 kids that she does support. She's currently in school to be a dental assistant. She has class this morning from 10 to 3 p.m. She has advised me that this is her only arrest ever. So given the fact that she doesn't have a criminal record, we would just be requesting an ROR or an alternative for her to be released on pretrial.
I am going to release you to pretrial. You are to report to pretrial every day by phone. You are to attend at least 5 NA or AA meetings per week or some viable alternative while this case is pending until further order of the court. Okay?
Your Honor, we would be requesting a photo order, please.
Yes, I will grant that.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Chantel Parrish Hobbs.
So far, Your Honor.
Where is she? Oh, gosh. is she, did you say North Broward? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. No
Okay,
problem.
I apologize. Ms. Parrish Hobbs, you're charged with possession of alprazolam, possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, possession of drug paraphernalia, DUI, driving while license suspended without knowledge, and possession of cocaine. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, in Broward County, she only has a driving while license is suspended misdemeanor that she pled and got a withhold in 2016.
Okay. What say you, ma'am?
Your Honor, as to count one, I would argue there's no PC for that. That medicine was prescribed to her.
I understand, but didn't they say the prescription was the 18th of August?
Your Honor, there's two types of medicine that were found on her. Give me 1 second.
I think the alprazolam, the problem was that the bottle had been filled on the 18th of August and it was empty.
But Your Honor, regardless, it's a possession of alprazolam. I mean, it's
Okay.
still prescribed to her.
What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, the prescription was filled August 18th with 60 pills. Appears that it was an empty bottle.
But Ms. Sundar has a point. Is there any
I-
statute which indicates that you can't consume more than you're given?
If the court's willing to put this on a brief recall, I can look up some case law.
Okay, we'll put you on recall, Ms. Parrish Hobbs. Have a seat. Jason Fannin?
That's Conti, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Good morning, Mr. Fannin. You are charged with failing to appear on traffic case number 16-18233 TC40. What kind of case is that, Mr. Gilday?
Oh, Judge, I'm sorry.
It's all
I can
right.
look that up right now.
Operating without a valid license. I got it.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
What's his traffic record look like?
I can pull up his DL now, Judge.
Mr. Fannin, do you have a valid DL?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what's going on with that? How can I help you get one?
My kid was just born with that. I was just leaving the hospital. Other than that, I
No,
do
that's
not
not what
drive.
I understand, but
Talk
you
about the facts of your case, please.
you weren't driving at the time? Is
No,
that what you're
I
saying?
don't drive.
So you're in the car, and they
Yes.
charged you with operating without a valid driver's license, and you're saying you weren't operating the vehicle?
No, I was operating, but
Your Honor,
the person
if you
couldn't
can now get
drive
into the facts
at
of your
that time.
case, please.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm gonna ROR you on this charge. And I want you to go get your license cleared up, okay?
Okay.
That doesn't mean this case isn't over. Can we
Okay.
get him a notice for his next court appearance? What's your address, Mr. Fannin?
16301 Northwest 162nd Street Road.
Well, it's street or road. I never heard it was street and road. Is it 162nd Street or 162nd Road?
It's 162nd Street Road.
Really?
Yes,
What city is that in?
that's Miami Gardens.
What's your zip?
33054.
You're going to get a notice to appear for your next court date at this address, okay?
Okay.
So watch your mail and make sure you go to court so you don't end up arrested for this again, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Can I just ask you, Mr. Fannin, is it an apartment?
It's a house.
So you live in a house?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Mr. Fannin, come back. Oh. What are the counts? Oh, it doesn't sound like you're going home to Street Road. They said that you've got counts 1 and 2 and you're going to court on September the 13th before what judge, ma'am?
That's
Before Judge Cohen.
I thought it was the 10th.
913.
We've got 9/13.
That's 17-11559 CF10A. So
The case number is 17-1159 CF10A, right?
559 CF10A.
11559.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
It's throwing a missile and
It's throwing a deadly missile
and a battery.
and battery, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you go on the 13th. That's Thursday, I think. You'll be going this coming Thursday, okay?
Okay.
All the best to you, Mr. Fannin.
Your Honor,
Thank you very much.
Just for my own clarification, on count 3, we're doing what with that? RR? Okay,
Yes,
thank you, Your
ma'am.
Honor.
You're welcome.
Judge,
That was thanks to your compelling arguments, Ms. Sundar.
Judge,
Yes.
on the felony case, did the court revoke pretrial or?
It sounds like they all went together. Yeah, I think he was arrested at the time. This is just an add-on situation. So I don't think I can revoke when it's all the same arrest. He didn't violate pretrial with this. He's going on Thursday. Trust me, if Judge Cohen reviews it, he will rule accordingly.
It's just strange because it's a 2017 case.
Okay. Sakaras Hernandez. Miguel Sakaras Hernandez.
He's here, Your Honor.
Okay, in Maine. Those of you who are, I don't want you to wait all morning. Are you waiting on a case? Okay, let's
For that
help
at the
them,
moment.
because
It's Victoria Ala,
we'll just,
but I cannot find it on the docket, so
Okay.
I'm looking for it right now, actually.
good morning, Mr. Sakaras Hernandez. How are you, sir? You are charged with failing to appear in case number 18-5225 MM40. You're going before your judge on Tuesday at 1:30, okay?
Your Honor, he would be looking to resolve if Your Honor is willing to resolve the case for him.
What is,
It's a possession of cannabis.
what say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, he has another case, 185653CF10A. It's possession of THC oil and misdemeanor possession of cannabis, which are both filed as of July 12th of this year.
Okay, the problem with that, since he's going, is that if I resolve his case, it might affect his guidelines. He's got a felony.
I
Okay,
understand. I didn't know he had anything pending.
I
wouldn't want him
didn't
to
either.
resolve.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, ma'am.
Judge, well, based on that, can I just make a bond argument for him? He cannot afford the $2,000 bond. He's been a resident of Broward for 8 years. He works. He's currently living with mom, so he does have a place to stay. So I would just be asking if Your Honor would be willing to release him to pretrial, given the fact that he cannot post a bond, and it's a misdemeanor case.
That's denied.
Thank
Frederick
you.
Fenelon?
Your Honor, before we go on that, they're
Oh,
on the
yes.
case, but it's not on the docket. They said they posted bond already.
Okay,
but-
well then if you have posted bond, I don't hear the matter. It takes 8 hours to process. I can't change that. But, so I'm not going to hear the matter because you already took care of the issue I'm here for, which is bond. Because you paid it. I don't know what, I'm not allowed to tell the sheriff what to do, and they don't have to tell me what to do, so. Okay? All right. Frederick Fenelon, thank you so much. Have a wonderful
He's here in
afternoon.
Maine, Your Honor.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Fenelon. You are charged with petty theft in the 2nd degree. I do find probable cause. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, he has a 2012 armed burglary dwelling, which he received an adjudication in 364 days, followed by 2 years community control in 2017. He also has a misdemeanor.
Okay, what say you, Ms. Barrios?
Well, Your Honor, I would just be arguing that has ties to the community. He's been a resident of Broward County for 10 years. He's currently going to school for engineering school. He's not able to afford the $25 bond, so I would just be respectfully requesting an ROR on this case, given the fact that it is a petty theft.
I do find probable cause. Your bond is $1,000. Thank you.
Your Honor, he would
Mr.
also like
Arbello?
to. Well, Your Honor, we can just go back to him. He would like to request an order to access his property to be able to post bond.
Absolutely. Submit
Thank
the
you.
order. Lawrence Arbello, Arbelo.
He's here in Maine.
Okay, Mr. Arbello, you are charged with 8 counts of failing to appear on various cases. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Yes, Judge.
Oh, wait, your bond is $100 on count 1, $100 on count 2, $100 on count 3, $100 on count 4, $100 on count 5, $25 on count 6, $50 on count 7, and $50 on count 8. Is that it? For a total of $625. Thank you, sir. Mark Lamy.
He's here in Maine, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lamy. You are charged with trespassing on an unoccupied structure or conveyance and failure to appear on case number 18-451 MM10A. I do find probable cause. Thank you very much, sir. You're going before your judge on Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Would Your Honor entertain a bond argument on his behalf?
Sure.
He's been a resident of Broward County for 13 years. He does have a job. He's currently scheduled to be at work today. He has 2 children that he supports and that currently lives with him. He does have a house and a place to live. So I would just be respectfully asking if Your Honor is willing to ROR him, or in the alternative for pretrial, since he's not able to afford a bond at this time.
Mr. Gilday.
Judge, I just see in his criminal record, he has 2 prior escapes, aggravated battery, great bodily.
What are the dates of the escapes, sir?
One's from 1999, Judge, and the other one was, I don't see it, 1999 as well. There's grand theft autos in his criminal history dating.
I like dates.
Sure, Judge.
Years.
Sure.
If it's 17, 18, 19 years ago, I'd like to know that.
2016, Judge.
There we go.
Driving while license suspended. He pled no contest to receive 45 days BCJ. 2017. 2016, another DWLS, failure to register motor vehicle. He received 45 days as well on those counts as well. 2015, another DWLS. He pled as charged.
Well, it doesn't look like he's driving anymore. I mean, I don't see an allegation in here that he was.
I'm just giving the criminal history.
Okay, where are you working, Mr. Lamy?
I work for a Fins and Things restaurant, full time.
What's the name of the restaurant?
Fins and Things.
Fins and Things.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Where's it at? In Davie?
No, it's here. It's over in Sunrise.
He says it's a restaurant in Sunrise, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm denying the motion to reduce bond. Noel LeBerry.
Your Honor, I believe we said Alan Lund.
Okay. Anthony Mazza. Oh, I'm sorry, Alan Lund.
Sorry, Your Honor.
You're right.
He's here in Maine, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Lund. You are charged with trespass. I do find probable cause. Your bond is $100.
Your Honor, will there be an offer for him? He's looking to resolve the case, if possible.
Okay, what say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I don't have an offer from this case. The court's inclined to make one from the bench.
What's his history?
Judge, he has a misdemeanor battery from 2000. I don't know what this is. It's a compulsory school attend. I guess he's.
He failed to complete his anger management class.
Okay, which he pled as charged in 2007. He has another battery in 1996 and in 1984. He's a Bat Leo resisting with a DUI, which he received 2 years probation in 1984. I don't know his criminal history is outside of Broward County.
Okay, Mr. Lund, if you wish to resolve this case, I would withhold adjudication, take judicial notice of the time you've served, and order you never to return to Sunset Square Plaza, located at 2177 North University Drive in Sunrise, Florida. Do you want to resolve your case, sir?
The only concern that he has is that he states that he goes to a clinic in the plaza, but he's allowed to be in the plaza or no?
Go there and then leave and that's it.
No, you can go.
No, I can't order you to go somewhere but not stay. It's not really a legal order. You're gonna have, what is it at the clinic? You gotta find another clinic. What's the clinic for, Mr. Lund?
It's a methadone clinic. I got hurt in December of 01, so it's a pain
I'm so
type
sorry.
situation.
I'm so very sorry. Is there another methadone clinic you can go to?
Yeah, I guess I can transfer to a different one.
That would be a big help, because apparently, even if you're there for a legitimate reason, if the security officer finds you, he's not gonna get into a discussion with you about why you're there. He's just gonna call the police again. So it's really for your own good. I don't know that you can go back there. You wanna do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna withhold adjudication, take judicial notice of the time you've served, and order you not to return to the Sunset Plaza, okay? Good luck to you, sir. I wish you all the best. Please do me a favor and find another place to get your treatment, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thanks.
Anthony Mazza?
Yes, ma'am.
He's present, Your Honor, at
Okay.
me.
Good morning, Mr. Mazza. You're charged with failing to appear on traffic case 18-21847. Your bond is $100. I do find probable cause.
And Your Honor, he will also be asking if Your Honor is inclined to resolve his case today.
What's going on with this vehicle? Do you still own this vehicle? They
No.
indicate you failed to register?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you sell it?
Yes, I did.
Is the title still with you? Because if you have the title, it's still going to be your problem.
No, I don't, ma'am.
Okay. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, there was a declined possession of heroin from 2014, but this is a 2003 DUI serious bodily injury, which DUI with injury or damage, that's 4 counts of that as well, which he received an adjudication within 20 days, Broward County Jail, followed by 1 year probation. That was in 2006 and 2009. He has a leaving the scene of an accident in 2003, which he pled no contest to at magistrates in 2005.
Mr. Mazza, you and vehicles, it's not good, right?
No, ma'am, that's why I don't drive anymore.
Okay, that's good. I'll withhold adjudication and take judicial notice of the time you've served, okay?
Today.
Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that resolves your case.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Julius Murray?
He's here in Maine, Your Honor.
Mr. Murray, you're charged with driving while your license is suspended and failing to appear in 18-29719 TC20A. They set your bond at $1,000 on count 4, $250 on count 2, and $100 on count 1. I'm RORing you on count 3. Is that for me? Okay, so I do find probable cause. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Come on.
Knutson? Andre Clifford Knutson?
He's here, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Knutson. You're charged with possessing drug paraphernalia, resisting an officer without violence, and obstructing traffic, as well as failing to appear in case number 46657 TC 30A. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, he has an extensive criminal history, 2018. Most of these are resisting and obstruction of street with solicitation on street corners. It's essentially, the last 10 years have been those charges,
Okay.
Judge.
Ms. Barrios, what say you?
And Your Honor, he will be looking to resolve the case if there is an offer for him today.
Mr. Knutson, if you want to resolve your cases, I will adjudicate you and sentence you to 4 days in county jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, he also has a pending traffic criminal case as well, which is the same charges. It's 18-47189 TC 30A.
Okay, 47189 TC 30A. Can I sentence him to the 4 days on both of these cases, Madam Clerk? 18-47189 TC 30A.
Is an arraignment on October 4th on that case in front of Judge Levine.
Okay, can I go ahead and sentence him? Mr. Gilday's indicating it's more of the same. possession, resisting without, obstructing. I don't know that Judge Levine would be so angry with me if I resolved his too. Okay, so Mr. Knudsen, you have another case that you were supposed to go before Judge Levine on October 4th. Is that right? And you want to do that on on that case as well, Mr. Knudsen? Okay, so I'm going to adjudicate him on all counts of both cases and sentence him to the time he served.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Mr. Knudsen, I'm adjudicating you, which means you're gonna have a record of resisting without violence and drug paraphernalia, and that doesn't bode well for you if you come back. Could you please make more of an effort not to come back? At least be polite to the police officer. That's really your biggest problem, is that when you walk away from him and you don't talk to him when he tries to stop you, that creates more problems for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So don't do it. Thank you, sir. All right. Angelo Mateus. I wrote the case.
No, that's.
He's here in Maine, Your Honor.
Counts 1 through 3 is one case. Count 4 is the second case.
Okay.
And the case that's not on the docket that she just resolved, so that's
3
3 cases.
cases.
The counts 1 through 4 is on the docket, that was county sentence to.
4 days in county jail. Both of them are 4 days to run concurrent.
Concurrent. And the case that's not on the docket.
Yes, Mr. Gilday.
Sorry.
I'm really sorry. I see that there's another pending case. It's a
That's
state.
what they just found.
All
That's
over,
what
I'm
we
sorry,
did?
don't
Okay.
bring up, yeah.
Okay. I don't.
Thanks for trying, Mr. Gilday.
I'm trying.
Can I just get a case number for the other case we just resolved?
If
that's
you
not on
go
the
up to
docket?
the clerk and she'll give you the number.
Okay, perfect.
Angelo Matias, M-A.
How you
Good
doing, Your
morning.
Honor?
I'm good, sir. How are you? You're charged with failing to appear in a municipal ordinance case. Is this your case, Mr. Gilday, this MO?
It's a municipal ordinance, Judge. I don't think I would have anything to do with it.
Okay, what's it for?
Carrying an open container.
And what agency is it?
City of Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Okay, does Hollywood have a prosecutor that handles these?
If they do, they're not here today, Judge.
So I'm gonna dismiss it.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir.
Richard Angel.
Mr. Engel?
He's here, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Engel. You're charged with defrauding an innkeeper. I do find probable cause. Your bond is $25. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Yes, Judge. I'm sorry. I'm just writing out the dismissal.
All right. I'll go to
I can pull up
you.
in 2 seconds.
It's okay. I'll go to Ms. Barrios while you're writing.
Well, yes, Your Honor. He has stated that he is looking to resolve the case,
Okay.
if possible.
He has trespasses, Judge. He has a 2018 trespass, which he pled no contest to at magistrates in July of 2018. June of 2018, he pled as charged to trespass as well. February 2015, he pled as charged.
Okay, so Mr. Engel, if you want to resolve your case today, I will adjudicate you guilty of defrauding an innkeeper and sentence you to 4 days in county jail. Would you like to resolve your case? You are not to return to 17 South Fort Lauderdale Beach Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to the business Lulu's Bait Shack. No return. Do you understand, sir? Okay, so adjudication in 4 days.
Have a seat.
Jeffrey May?
He's here, Your Honor. At Maine.
Mr. May, you are charged with petty theft of a tag or decal. Your bond is $100. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I don't see a criminal history in Broward County.
Okay. Mr. Gilday, do you have any interest in resolving your case, sir?
Your Honor, I
Oh,
believe
wait.
he has stated.
There's an ad charge.
There was just one,
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 2 counts of petty theft?
Yes, and I believe that he has told me that he is going to fight the case, so he would not like to
Okay.
resolve it.
That's,
However, Your Honor, if Your Honor would entertain a bond argument on his behalf, he's
Where
not
you-
able to afford the bond.
okay, where do you live, Mr. May?
Tamarack,
What's your address, Mr. May?
4960
East Sable Palm Boulevard.
Sable
Samurai
Palm
Plaza.
Boulevard?
Yes, ma'am.
East.
East Sable Palm Boulevard. Is it a house or apartment?
Apartment
What's your apartment number?
414.
414.
Yes, ma'am.
Tamarack, what's your zip?
33319.
How long have you lived there?
12 years.
How long have you lived in Broward County?
About the same.
Okay, I will release you on your recognizance. You are to call pretrial release once a week. Make sure you attend court. You have to come to court each and every time. If you miss court or you get arrested while you're on pretrial release, it would be revoked and then you would go back to jail. Okay? 1 time per week to call in. That's correct, ma'am. Is that good, Ms. Townsend? Is there anything else you want? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gary Serpine?
He's here, Your Honor.
Mr. Serpine, you are charged with failing to appear in 8 different municipal ordinance cases. You are going before your judge on the 17th at 1:30 p.m. I do find probable cause. Thank you, sir. Delonte Wilcox?
He's here, Your Honor. He's approaching.
Mr. Wilcox, you're charged with failing to appear on case number 16-3253. I do find probable cause. You'll be going before your judge on September 17th.
Your Honor, he would like to resolve the case if possible.
What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I believe he's also charged with, I'm sorry, Judge, are we talking, I thought you had a 16 case that you mentioned.
16-3253 MM10A.
For Delonte Wilcox?
Yes, sir.
He also has 18-3253 MM10A.
Oh, it's 18. I'm sorry.
Okay,
It's very tiny print, everyone. And the court buys her glasses at the dollar store. It's not always...
Judge, I'm just gonna look at his criminal history.
So sorry. Yes, take your time, Mr. Gilday.
There's the 18 case that we're talking about, June 28th, which is still filed. He pled no contest to possession of PVP in 2015, received 364 in adjudication. He pled guilty as charged and got time served for resisting without. He has some possession of cocaines from 2014 and a battery in 2014 as well, which he received 98 days Broward County Jail.
PTR, do we have an address on Mr. Wilcox? 2064. Did anybody check his address out?
No, Judge.
Mr. Wilcox, who are you living with, sir?
Mother.
Your mom? Okay, what's her phone number?
954-404-4453.
404-4453. And what's her name?
Tammy.
Tammy. Ms. Sandor, can you call Tammy and see if Mr. Wilcox can go live with her? Did you get that number? 954-404-4453. We're going to put you on a little recall, Mr. Wilcox, and call your mom and see what she says about you living with her, okay? Stacy Scotton?
He's here, Your Honor.
Hello, Mr. Scotton. You are charged with trespassing on school grounds after refusal. Your bond is $100. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, he would be looking to resolve the case if possible.
That's denied. Your bond is $100. Thank you, sir. Craig Fauner?
Yes,
North
ma'am.
Broward, Your Honor.
You are charged with where is he?
North Broward.
North Broward, thank you, ma'am. Yes. You are charged with violation of your misdemeanor probation case number 18-3217 MM10A. I do find probable cause. What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I'm sorry, it looks like my packet is...
Your Honor, while he looks for that, I have an answer regarding Delonte Wilcox on page 15.
Yes, and?
His mother, Tammy, said that he he can live with her.
Okay, let's get look for that, Mr. Gilday, and I'll get Mr. Wilcox back.
Again, that was page
We'll be
15.
right with you, Mr. Fonner. Mr.
He's approaching.
Wilcox?
He's approaching.
I'm gonna ROR you to live with your mom. Pretrial release is gonna verify that you can live with her, and you are going to do everything she's, yes. Go ahead.
Are you gonna make him a pending verification?
Pending
Because you'll keep the
verification.
bond in place, and then give us a chance to
I'll
verify.
keep the bond in place with pending verification. Mr. Wilcox, you have to do everything, you can't leave the house without coming back at some point. I'm trying to say that if you and your mom don't get along, you're gonna come back here. You understand me?
Yes.
Are you gonna get along?
Yes.
Okay. Are you working?
No.
Can you look for work?
Yes.
Okay, so I want you to see if you can find a job, all right? I'm not gonna require you to, but that's the reason you can leave the house, is to look for work or work, okay?
Okay.
You're placing him on standard pretrial, correct?
Standard pretrial.
Realize that the defendant would be free to. there's
I
no
understand.
restriction.
Okay, I understand.
And you're requiring that he also lives with his mother.
Right, if he
Okay.
changes his residence, it's gotta be with your approval.
Okay.
You can only change your residence with approval from pretrial, okay? Ms. Barrios, can you make sure he knows to come back to court on September 17th at 1:30 before what judge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Division MP.
Oh, it's MP. I don't know what division that is.
I know, I'm not,
MP. Yeah.
before Judge Levy.
Okay.
Why?
So you have court on the 17th before George Levy, okay? He
Why?
says he'll be here.
Why is it different?
That's the in custody, we write these dates for in custody status, you can verify his address, if he's outright released, then he's gonna be noticed. Unless you wanna keep that date.
I do wanna
or
keep
him
that
to stay,
date.
I can write it on there.
I would like to keep that date.
Okay, I can-
Thank you, ma'am. Because I like being able to tell them in court what their date is. We're gonna tell you the room number. Well, pretrial, can you let him know?
Yes, cause I don't have one.
Thank you. Okay, so pretrial's gonna let you know when you come back. I know what room number, but I know you're coming back on the 17th at 1:30, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Just for pretrial clarification, you're not worried that he resides with his mother, just any changes to address must be approved by pretrial.
Yes.
correct? Thank you.
I'm gonna write his notice in open court.
Well, he's not, because we didn't give him the room number. He only got part of it. This is the kind of stuff that ends people up back in jail when we have these confusions. Well, okay, we sure can. Can you bring him back up and ask him for his full address? Or actually, Ms. Sandor, can you call, his mom back and verify his address for me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Thank you. Just give her a call back so we can give the clerk his correct address.
Your Honor, do you mind if I do that in a little bit?
Not at all.
Okay, thank you.
Radislaw Sturzinski? Oh, no, we had,
Your Honor, we missed.
I'm sorry,
Craig
Mr. Fonner.
On North Broward, I
Broward.
believe.
Mr. Fonner, back to you. You are charged with violating your probation in case number 18-3217. Your bond is $500. I do find probable cause. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, would you entertain?
For a date?
on-
For a date?
Yes, that's a good thing to ask for.
Your Honor, I'd request that the amount, if it's set at 500, be lower, considering. he
That
can't
was set
afford-
by Judge Carpenter Toy.
Okay.
The court is not going to disturb her bond. I'm sure that you will go before Judge Carpenter Toy imminently. Mr. Gilday, can you make a note to make sure that Mr. Fonner, that Judge Carpenter Toy's division, which is division... I don't have a division. knows that he is currently in custody and he needs to go before her forthwith.
Sure, Judge.
And Ms. Sundar, if you could do the same with the PD's office so that we get Mr. Fawner before Judge. Mr. Fawner, I've got both the state attorney and the public defender making efforts to get you before Judge Carpenter Toy. If you could please help me to do that by contacting the public defender's office at 954-831-6750 and telling them that you need to get before Judge Carpenter Toy, that'd be a big help.
Your Honor, I'll definitely notice his attorney.
Okay, actually, you only need to know 6750.
So there's no way to know a court date?
Yes, sir. Tell him your name and your case number and ask for a court, tell him that you're in custody and need to get before Judge Carpenter Toy.
Okay.
Judge Carpenter Toy will make sure that you get court as early as possible, and by that I mean next week, sir. Okay?
I'm in the detox cell.
Okay.
We can't make phone calls there.
All right, well, as soon as you're finished, ask to make I'll get a court order
Yes,
for
Your
you to
Honor.
get a
Thank
phone
you.
call, okay?
All right.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna do the order right now.
Okay.
Radislaw Skorzinski?
He's on medical loan, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Matthew Geimer?
He's here in Maine.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
He stated he's gonna hire a private attorney.
Okay, Mr. Geimer, you are charged with felony capias for the underlying count of armed carjacking. You are held no bond. I will not disturb that bond based on the nature of the charges, and I do find probable cause. Michael Bosch?
North Broward, Your Honor.
Mr. Bosch? I'm say it again. Is he coming? North Broward. I'm sorry. Mr. Bosch, you're charged with burglary of a dwelling and grand theft. I do find probable cause. Mr. Gilday, what do you say as to bond on count one?
Yes, Judge, she has a designation of a habitual offender. In 2014, he received 5 years probation for burg dwelling. He was also sentenced HO on dealing in stolen property, grand theft, false ownership, and received 5 years prison as a habitual offender in 2015. In 2014, again, he violated his probation of burglary of dwelling and grand theft, which he pled at no contest to and received again 5 years as a habitual offender. Burg dwelling again in 2014, burg dwelling again in 2014. He has armed burglary of a conveyance. I'm sorry, Judge, that was declined. Burg dwelling in 2014, dealing in stolen property, grand theft, false ownership, wanting items that weren't his, in which he also received 5 years as a habitual offender. Delivery of cocaine, his probation was revoked and he was sentenced to time served in 2010. That's in Broward County alone.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Your Honor, I believe there's no probable cause. The only allegation on the police report is that Bosch's girlfriend, Ashley Caruso, said sometimes I let him borrow the car. Other than that, there's nothing tying Mr. Bosch to this.
Okay. Thank you. I do find probable cause. Mr. Bosch, your bond on count one is $100,000. Your bond on count two is $1,000. If you are released, you are on a level 2 monitor. You will go to work or home, church for 1 hour a week, grocery shopping for 1 hour a week. Other than that, you will stay home. Thank you very much, sir.
Your Honor, may I ask for a lower amount on the bond?
That is
He
denied.
has lived in Florida all his life. He does have family here. The bond is probably one he cannot afford at the moment.
Thank you, Ms. Sundar. That's denied.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Nehemiah Miller?
He's present in Maine, Your Honor.
Okay.
And he has advised that he's gonna hire a private attorney.
Okay.
Or already has one.
Okay, what is his name and phone number? We'll contact him.
Not sure his phone number.
Your Honor, this child was direct filed, and that's why he's here right now. I'll let our office know.
Okay, thank you. He's indicating he's hiring private counsel.
He already has a private counsel. I believe it's Mr.
Yeah, Castillo.
Yes, Castillo.
Mr. Kes, okay, can someone, you have his phone number, sir?
No, he does not.
His
Okay.
family, however, is very involved in DU.
Okay, so, Mr. Miller, I will not disturb your bond at this time. You are charged with armed robbery. I do find probable cause. And I will let the judge, the presiding judge, make determinations as to any changes in your bond. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Based on the charges, I show zero bond. I don't. Yeah, I show no bond. I don't show that. So I will say no bond. Joshua Spicy?
That was the same she did for Guymer.
He's present in Maine.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Spicy. You are charged with violation of probation and failure to appear. I do find probable cause. You will be going before your judge on September the 13th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir. Frankie Vargas?
He's here in Maine, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Vargas. You are charged with burglary of a dwelling, grand theft, violation of probation. I do find probable causes to all counts. The burglary of a dwelling charge, I will set the bond at $50,000. You are on a no bond hold on the other charges. You're going before your judge on September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir. Brandon Kelly?
He is present here and
Mr. Kelly, you are charged with violation of probation and failure to appear in case number, is this a 13 or an 18? 18-7334 or 13? 13-7334, 7433, 13-7634, 13-7834. It must be 7834. You're going before your judge on September 13th at 8:30 a.m. I do find probable cause. Bertram Cooper?
he's here in Maine, Your Honor. Yeah.
Nehemiah Miller.
Nehemiah Miller. Nehemiah Miller. Now,
No, we just said Brandon Kelly.
Brandon Kelly.
He
Now
does
we're
not have a
on
private.
Bertram Cooper, or did I mix up?
I think you missed
Okay,
Jason Gillis, Your Honor.
Jason Gillis, you were charged with tampering or fabricating physical evidence. I do find probable cause. Your bond is $1,000.
Hold on 1 second. We don't have him up here, Your Honor. If you can give me
I'm
1
sorry.
second.
Jason Gillis.
He's coming up. I apologize.
Okay.
He's here.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Gillis. You're charged with tampering or fabricating physical evidence. Your bond is $1,000. I do find probable cause. If you are able to bond out, you are to report to pretrial release on a weekly basis.
Judge,
Yep.
the defendant is currently under the supervision of pretrial services in case number 18-9942 CF10A. It's a possession of heroin. Based on the court's finding of probable cause, we would ask that you revoke his pretrial in that case.
Your pretrial is revoked in that case. Who is the judge?
That's Judge Shearer, Judge.
Judge Shearer. Your bond in that case is set at $25,000. Your bond in this case is set at $25,000. If you are able to bond out, you are to attend 5 meetings per week with NA or AA.
Judge?
Yep.
The defendant also has 18-2947 MM40A. Looks like Mr. Michelson is the public defender on that case.
Okay.
It looks like there's also pretrial on that one as well.
Okay. Your pretrial in that case is revoked. Your bond in that case is $5,000.
And Your Honor, may I make a bond argument on his behalf?
Certainly.
He's been a resident of Broward for 15 years. He's currently on disability for mental health issues, which he requires medications to be taken care of. He has advised me that he currently has 2 dogs at home who are alone because of his arrest. So I would just be respectfully asking for the bond to be lowered because he cannot afford such a high bond at this time.
That's awful. I will sign a order allowing you to make 4 phone calls so that you can try to find someone to come and take care of your dogs. However, I am not going to lower your bond, okay?
Can we also have an order for him to access his property?
Yes.
For the phone numbers, thank you.
Yes. Now Bertram Cooper? Am I right?
Yes, he's here, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Cooper. You are charged with failing to appear or on case number 18-1123 MM20A. Your bond is $1,000. And failing to appear in case number 18-2432 CF10A, you have a no bond hold. When will Mr. Cooper be going before his judge in these cases? Can anybody tell me who the judges are?
It's Judge Duffy in the
Okay.
cocaine case.
And the MM20?
The MM20 looks like there is, I don't know if NB is a division or if it's not been assigned yet. I can see though.
Okay. Let's go with
Judge, it's Judge John Hurley, Judge.
Judge Hurley out in North.
Yes. The
Okay.
Possession of cocaine case.
You indicated that was Judge Duffy.
That's right. I don't see a future date, obviously,
Okay.
because of the capias, but.
Okay, can somebody, or both parties, kindly Ms. Sundar and Mr. Gilday contact the public defender and the assistant state attorneys in Judge Duffy's division and alert them that Mr. Cooper is currently in custody and needs to be brought before Judge Duffy as soon as possible. And also the ASA and the APD in Judge Hurley's division and alert them that Mr. Cooper's in custody and needs to be brought before Judge Hurley, or a judge in Central, I'm sure, could handle that because Judge Hurley's up in North.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that we can get Mr. Cooper before his judges. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Horace Ori, O-R-I.
He's present at Maine.
Good morning, Mr. Ori. You are charged with 7 counts. Fraudulent use or possession of the identification of another person without that person's consent. Your bond in that matter is $1,000. Unauthorized possession of a forged or stolen driver's license. You have 3 counts of that. Your bond in each of those counts is $1,000. Possession of cannabis. I will ROR you on that charge. Unlawful possession of the school identification or other identification of another, 2 counts of that. Those 2 counts are $100. Your bond in each of those counts is raised to $1,000 on each of those counts. So you have a total of $6,000 bond.
Your Honor, did you find probable cause?
I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, Mr. Ori is currently under the supervision of pretrial services in case number 18-10598 CF10A, a possession of heroin and a possession of cannabis over 20 grams. We'd ask that you revoke his pretrial in that case.
His pretrial release is revoked in that case. Who is the judge in that case?
That's Judge Coleridge.
Okay, your bond in that case, those are bondable offenses, is $10,000 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2. And thank you very much, sir.
Is Your Honor willing to entertain lowering his bond considering how much the amount is and he's not able to currently afford any bond?
Certainly, I'll entertain any motions you have, Ms. Barrios. Please proceed.
He has ties to the communities, Your Honor. He's been a resident of Broward County for 15 years. He's currently working and he's scheduled for work this upcoming Monday. He does attend church 3 times a week and he would like to continue to do so. So I would just be respectfully asking for a lower bond at this time.
That is denied. Thank you, ma'am. DeAndre Simmons. Good morning.
He's here at Maine.
Thank you, Ms. Barrios. Good morning, Mr. Simmons. You are charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Your bond is $10,000, and I do find probable cause. Thank you, sir.
And Your Honor, he's not willing.
Oh, you're not, if you are released, you're not to have any contact whatsoever with the victim in this matter.
Is Your Honor willing to release him to pretrial release? He's not able to afford any bond monetary at this point, so we would just be asking for him to be released on pretrial with any conditions.
That is denied at this time. You're not to have any contact with Mr. Gilday, who is Gregory Knox, not indirect or direct contact with Gregory Knox.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
The warrant also states pretrial with a GPS.
Oh, okay. Yes, if you are released, I apologize. If you are released, you are on the bond. You are also to be on GPS monitor. Is it level 2, ma'am?
GPS.
Yes, level 1.
Level 1, which means, help me.
Complete lockdown.
You cannot leave your home or residence for any reason whatsoever. Thank you, sir. Roman Zenin, Z-E-N-I-N.
He's here in Maine, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Zenin. You are charged with second-degree murder. Based on the warrant, I do find probable cause, as was found by the Honorable Judge Bailey, and your bond, as set by Judge Bailey, is $100,000.
Judge, it's, I see $200,000.
I'm sorry. Just one moment. Is $200,000.
Your Honor, may I?
Certainly, Ms. Barrios.
Your Honor, he's currently taking care of his elderly mother, who's 72 years old, who's very ill, and it currently requires him to be her caretaker. So I would just be asking if Your Honor is willing to lower his bond at the current time.
That's denied. Kirby.
And we would be, and Your Honor, just one more thing, we would just be invoking his right to remain silent.
Absolutely, the invocation is noted. I believe, Mr. Gilday, if you would contact law enforcement and let them know that they're to have no contact with this gentleman without counsel being notified and present.
Okay, Judge, Judge, if, the
Are you
defendant-
all gonna do an invocation and send it over to the police agency involved?
We already did, Your Honor.
Okay, great.
Judge,
Yes, thank you.
if, the $200,000 is the court, if the defendant is capable of making the $200,000 bond, the state would ask that it be, subject to a nebia hearing. And also if the defense,
How is a nebia hearing applicable in this
It's-
matter?
you're correct, Judge. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, you are correct. But if the defendant is capable of making the $200,000 bond, if the court is inclined to place him on a pretrial level,
Well, I'm not gonna disturb Judge Bailey's bond. He's reviewed the warrant and made that determination, so,
okay, thank you.
thank you. All right, Kirby Oxgenor, Oxgenor.
He is a medical reset, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Whistler Jeffard.
He's present.
Good morning,
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Jeffard. You are charged with 8 counts. Hold on, let me make sure. I'm sorry, 16 counts, wait a minute, 25 counts. Counts 1 through 8 being, forgery, passing a forged or false credit card. Counts 9 through 12 being defrauding a financial institution. Counts 13 and 14 creating possession of a fictitious personal ID. Counts 15, 16 through 21 unlawful possession of another's personal ID. Count 22 receiving and selling credit card machine plates. Counts 23, 24, and 23 and 24 selling or manufacturing a forged or stolen ID, and count 25 unauthorized possession of a blank forged stolen driver's license. Your bonds, well, what say you, Mr. Gilday, as to bond?
Judge, looking at his criminal history in Broward County, his last offense was a grand theft, which he was adjudicated and received 5 years prison as a habitual offender, because that case also carried with it a burglary dwelling, which he also pled to 5 years prison as a habitual offender. He has older cases from 2005, which include an ag assault fire. I'm sorry, Judge, the ag assault firearm was not guilty by a jury. There's a grand theft auto from 2000, which probation was revoked, and he was sentenced to 5 years Florida State Prison. Grand theft 364 in 1999. Criminal mischief in 1998. Grand theft again in 1998, and a battery as well, which he received 9 months Florida Broward County Jail.
Okay, Ms. Barrios, what say you?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. I was saying he does have ties to the community. He's been a resident of Broward County for 30 years. He currently does have a job. He's working at a treatment center. He does have a kid. She is 9 years old, who he currently supports. So given the fact that it's so many counts and it's a lot of money he cannot afford at this time. I would just be respectfully asking for pretrial release, or in the alternative, a lower bond.
Okay, the court is going to find probable cause and set bond in the amount of $4,000 on each count, which is $100,000. It is going to be subject to a nebia hearing for proof as to the source of the funds. If you are released, you are to be on electronic monitor. Level 2, you may go to work and come home, and you may go to church once a week for 1 hour, and you may go grocery shopping once a week for 1 hour. Thank you very much, Mr. Gifford.
Thank you.
Frank Gutierrez?
He's present at Maine, Your Honor, and he has advised that he will hire a private attorney.
Okay, great. Mr. Gutierrez, you're charged with uttering a false instrument and grand theft. Your bond on each count is $1,000 for a total of $2,000. I do find probable cause. Donald Smith?
He bonded.
Okay. I thought you were going to start making arguments on behalf of the gentleman that have refused your office. Roberto Martinez?
He's present, Your Honor, and once again, he has advised he's going to hire a private too.
Okay, great. Mr. Martinez, you are charged with 3 counts. I do find probable cause as to grand theft, uttering a false instrument, and attempting to use the ID of another person without their consent. Your bond on each count is $1,000 for a total of $3,000. Thank you, sir. Stephen Carriel?
He's here, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Carriel. How are you, sir? You're charged with possession of cannabis and possession of THC. What's your address, sir? Oh, your bond was posted. Have a wonderful day.
Well, thank you. You too.
Sure. Robert, what did I do? Robert Reynolds.
Thank you.
He's here, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Reynolds. You are charged with grand theft in an amount more than $300 and less than $5,000. Your bond is $1,000. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, may I?
I can't do. As to bond, please, Ms. Barros.
Yes. Your Honor, he does have kids that he's currently supporting. He is in disability. He requires medical attention and medical treatment that he is not getting here at the jail. So based on that, I would just be respectfully asking if he could be released on pretrial release, since he cannot afford bond at this time.
Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I don't see a criminal history in Broward County that's other than a petty theft in 2018, which he pled to time served. I would ask that the bond amount remain as is. He has a prior theft offense, and which is recent.
Ms. Townsend?
Your Honor, just so the court is aware, in Tennessee, it appears that the defendant currently has 3 pending cases. August of 2018, a shoplifting. July 24th of 2018, a possession of drug paraphernalia. July 7th of 2018, a felony possession of a controlled substance. Furthermore, he has a warrant out of Tennessee. They will not extradite from Florida, however, for a violation of probation. He was placed on probation for an aggravated burglary conviction and a theft of property. He failed to appear for a driving while license revoked.
Okay, thank you. The motion to reduce bond is denied. It's subject to review by another judge.
Your Honor, can we recall Parrish Hobbs Chantel?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You were going to find some case law, Mr. Gilday, regarding possession of alprazolam when you clearly have the prescription.
I believe she's in North Broward.
Yes, she is.
Yes, Judge. I've been doing this. I just want to.
Okay, I find no PC as to count 1.
That's fine.
As to 2 through 6, I do find probable cause. Your bond on count 2 is $1,000. Oh, you indicated she has no criminal history. Is that correct?
I don't believe she does, Judge. I can double check though.
That's all right. I'm going to ROR you subject to pretrial release, verifying your address. So currently your bond is $1,000 on count 2. Count 1 is no PC. Count 2 is 1,000, count 3 is 100, count 4 is 500, count 6 is ROR, not for magistrates, count 7 is 1,000. However, if pretrial release can verify your address, I'm going to put you on level 2, which means you can go to work, you can go to church once a week, and you can go shopping once a week. Otherwise, you'll be confined to your home. And also, you can go to an NA, AA, any type of 12-step meeting or rehabilitation program that is approved by PTR as being a rehabilitation program at any time, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're gonna get, this is the beginning, not the end, okay? We're gonna get everything together for you, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't think of this as a bad thing. Think of it as your opportunity, okay?
So will I be released on ROR, or will I have
Once-
to have a
You don't have
bond?
to, you don't have to put up a bond, but you have to have a phone line in the house. You still have to have that?
I'm sorry, you gave bond amounts and then you said she was on GPS level 2.
Once you verify her address, because I have been told by Ms. Townsend that I leave the bond
No,
until
Judge.
we verify the address.
That's only if you're putting them on standard pretrial and
Okay.
ordering that they go out forthwith.
I didn't
Pending
say.
verification. You're putting her on GPS.
Yes.
A normal practice of GPS is to verify the address.
So
You
I'm
don't
gonna
get released
ROR
without-
her.
Okay, you're gonna do a straight ROR. Thank you, Judge.
I own a same home in Coral Springs 15 years, and I'm a native of the area, so my address is the same.
Okay. All right. Good luck to
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. I wish you all the best. Please go to meetings.
100%. Thank you.
Okay, you're so welcome. I found no probable cause, and that's ROR'd. Anthony Acosta.
Your Honor, I believe we skipped over Josue Perdomo in Maine.
Oh, Josue Perdomo. You're right. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
In Maine.
Mr. Perdomo Cruz. Is it just Perdomo? Is your name Perdomo?
Perdomo Cruz.
Okay, Mr. Perdomo Cruz, you were charged with violating your probation in case number 17-4970 CF10A. You are going before your judge on September 25th at 9 o'clock. I do find probable cause. Thank you, sir. Anthony Acosta.
He's here in Maine as well.
Good morning, Mr. Acosta. You are charged with violating your probation in case number 16-7388 CF10A. Is that right, everybody? You are going before your judge on September the 13th at 8:30 a.m. I do find probable cause. Thank you, sir. Norris Collins.
He's here in Maine, Your Honor.
Mr. Collins, you're charged with grand theft auto. I do find probable cause. What's, your bond is $1,000.
And Your Honor, he's currently not able to afford the bond at this time. If Your Honor would entertain releasing him on pretrial or on ROR
What say you,
as an alternative.
What say you, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I don't see a criminal history in Broward County other than this grand theft auto. However, I believe that the bond amount is quite appropriate for the charge. I would ask that it remain as currently as it is.
Where are you living, Mr. Collins?
Where are you living? Tell her.
I'm staying here in Buffalo.
Okay. Do you have an address?
I believe he's homeless at the current moment, Your Honor. There's no address that they can.
How long have you lived here, Mr. Collins?
I lived here a few months.
He says a few months, Your Honor. He's that's.
Well, I would like to, I have to make sure you're coming back to court, and I have to make sure that you have, ties to our community, and I have concerns if you don't have an address.
Well, he says that he's been currently staying at a homeless shelter around here. Do you know the name of it?
bond?
He says that the homeless shelter, Your Honor, is down the street. He doesn't know the name or the address of it.
Your Honor, I believe pretrial can do with homeless shelters. They do deal with it.
Right, but we need to verify that he's actually staying there because of pretrial. Okay, so I can release him on pretrial release pending verification of where he's living?
Correct, Judge, you just keep the
Okay.
bond in place. So
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
if you never
Okay.
are able to verify his address.
So we're gonna keep the bond in place, but as soon as they're able to
The
verify.
problem is he stated that he was homeless, just so.
He's
everyone's
listening.
aware and the PD is aware, so if the homeless shelter says they have no idea who he is, they won't let him come there, he will sit in custody until the bond is
Okay.
posted, okay?
Okay, well, you'll do your best, right?
That's correct.
Okay, they'll do their best to find it. If he could try to think of landmarks or some way to help them, that would be a great
Okay.
help. Okay.
He's listening. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
If we can't call them, we cannot verify his address.
Okay. Yes. Justin Stalter?
He's here, Your Honor, Maine.
Good morning, Mr. Stalter. You're charged with violation of community control in case number, I believe it's 11-19224 CF10A. You'll be going before your judge on September the 25th at 9:00 a.m. I do find probable cause.
Judge's name?
Porter.
It's not Porter anymore.
Yeah, no, yeah. It has it scratched out.
Who took Judge Porter's seat? We're not sure. We're not sure because but you're going there. I'm sorry. We have a new judge that's taken Judge Porter's seat, okay? I believe it might be Judge Rodriguez, I'm sorry.
Pretty sure Judge Bailey took over.
Okay, Judge Bailey.
Dennis Bailey.
Rivera, Harriel, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, sir. Rivera Rodriguez?
He's here.
You're charged with touch or strike battery, criminal mischief, and burglary of an occupied conveyance. I do find probable cause. Your bond in count 1 is $1,000. Your bond in count 2 is $500, and your bond in count 3 is $1,000 for a total of $2,500. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, may I?
Oh, you're not to have any contact whatsoever with Annabelle Ray. If you lived with Ms. Ray prior to this arrest, did you know Ms. Ray?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then you're not to go back to 3901 Riverland Road, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Do you have any items there?
No, ma'am.
Okay, no direct or indirect contact with Annabelle Ray whatsoever, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes.
Regarding bond?
Yes.
Regarding his ties to the community, he's been a resident of Broward for 24 years. He currently does have a job. He is working in construction. He supports his kids, who is a 2-year-old. He's currently enrolled in school for engineering, and I believe this is his first arrest. So given the fact that he doesn't have an extensive criminal history, combined with his ties to the community, I would just be respectfully asking for him to be either ROR'd or in the alternative to be released on pretrial, please.
Okay, Mr. Gilday?
Judge, I note in the booking report that he has 0 months of residence in Broward County. I don't know if that's verified or confirmed. I think that the bond amounts are quite appropriate considering the charges. I did not see a criminal history in Broward County. However, I do not have his national criminal history.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, I'm denying the motion, but I am stressing to you that if you come within 500 feet of Ms. Ray, or of her work, or of her home, that you will be in violation of your bond and it will be revoked. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Clinton Tripp?
Oh, it's a medical reset, Your Honor.
Okay. John Alex Xavier?
He's here in Maine.
This is another gentleman that we need a hearing date on. Mr. Xavier, you're charged with petty theft. Your bond in that count is $100. You're also charged with violation of your probation, you will remain in custody pending a hearing on a bond before the judge who placed you on probation, or your hearing date. And I need to know from, someone what, who the judge is?
I can find it.
Or
This
if
is
it,
John Alex Demon Xavier.
yes, sir,
I saw a $100 bond
on the petty
petty
theft.
theft, and then he has a 17 case, I believe, as well.
Oh, so it's not our probation, it's someone else's. I'm sorry, it's a warrant out of another county for violation of your probation, sir. I'm sure that they will be coming to get you shortly, okay? Thank you, sir. It's out of Dade. Aaron Frazier?
Conti, Your Honor.
Good morning, he's Conti, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Frazier. How are you, sir? You were charged with failing to appear in case number 18-9540 CF10A. I do find probable cause. Your bond is $1,000, but you will be going before your judge on September 24th at 9 o'clock a.m. Kervin Eccles.
He's here, Your Honor, in Maine.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning, Mr. Eccles. How are you, sir?
Good morning.
Everything okay?
The pain.
Okay. If you need medical to take a look at you, I'm happy to sign an order for that, Mr. Eccles, okay? You are charged with VOP in case number 16-6552 CF10A and failing to appear on a misdemeanor case number 18-1040 MM20A. We don't have a hearing date for you, Mr. Eccles. Mr. Gilday, can you help me with that?
Sure, Judge.
And while that, Your Honor, may I do a bond argument while he's taking care of that?
Sure.
So regarding Mr. Eccles, he's currently been a resident of Broward for 8 years. He is in disability. He does have a lot of health issues. He has relayed to me that he does require certain medications that are not available to him. One of those is the pain medication that he usually gets prescribed to himself. So he is currently experiencing a lot of pain right now, which is why he's confined to the wheelchair. So we would just be respectfully asking if he could just be released on pretrial or on ROR. Well, I see it's a KPS, so I would just be respectfully requesting for him to be released on pretrial.
Where are you living now, Mr. Eccles?
Right now I'm homeless, Your Honor.
Right now he's homeless, Your Honor. Do you have
What happened to First Step?
I could go back there, but it takes money, you know what I mean?
He says that he was not able to afford to keep up with the payments for First Step, since they do require for him to pay a week.
Well, I can put you on a pretrial. I know, I see. You gotta keep your equipment charged up. That's the problem here. Well, okay. I cannot disturb your bond on the VOP. Okay? But I can ROR you on the misdemeanor pending what happens with Judge Duffy. But it looks like I can't do anything about the fact that you have to go before Judge Duffy. And unfortunately, given your medical circumstances, I don't want something bad to happen, you to be unable to take care of yourself out there. It doesn't sound like you would get treatment and services. So I will do this. We'll put in a word to get you before Judge Duffy. Does he have a hearing date?
No, Judge.
So we're gonna call Judge Duffy's chambers and I'm asking the public defender and the state attorney to contact Judge Duffy's assistant PDs in that division and try to get you before her as soon as possible, okay?
And Judge,
He says thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir.
Judge John Hurley in North Side.
Okay, well,
Again, no future date, obviously.
yeah, that'll be we're gonna, that you have to be up in North Broward before Judge Hurley on this other charge, okay? Unless Judge Duffy can handle that one as well. Hopefully somebody can ask her to help with that, because there's an administrative order that allows us to handle each other's cases. If you could help me with that, I'd appreciate it, okay?
Your Honor, and
Thank you.
I am providing the court with an order regarding, for him to have an evaluation
Thank
done.
you. Thank you very much. We're gonna get you before the doctor, okay, sir?
He says thank you.
Yes, ma'am? Yes, ma'am? Yes, ma'am? Yes, ma'am?
Okay.
Good luck to you, sir.
All right.
Anthony Malone?
It's a medical reset.
Okay. I think that takes care of everything. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too. I will see everyone tomorrow, and if not, have a wonderful holiday. And thank you so much for all your help and your professionalism. I appreciate everybody's input. This concludes the hearings.